Okay, let's start. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame bhante bhuri panya tathagata kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame dhamma sanditika akalika kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame sangha supatipana anuttara sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Tisarana gamanang paripunang panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adina dana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Abrahmacharya veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musawada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Surameraya majapamadatthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Vikala bhojana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Nacha Gita Wadita Visukadasana Malaganda Vilepana Dharana Mandana Vibhusanathana Veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Uchasayana Mahasayana Veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. idang me silang maga pala nyanasa pachayo hotu appamadena sampadeta sa. Let us do some guided metta before we start the Dhamma talk. All right. Now we sit here, we let go of all the noting on the vipassana objects. Just keep the mind present here and now, calm, peace. Let the body relax from top of the head. Relax the forehead. Relax the face, the neck, the shoulders. Relax the chest. Relax the stomach area. Relax the back, the spine. Relax the hips, the buttocks, thighs, knees, calf. Relax the ankles, soles, toes. So relax the body, keep the mind calm and peaceful, yet alert. May I be free. May I be free from all kinds of harm and danger. Free from all mental suffering. May I be free from all physical suffering. May I be peaceful. May I be well, be healthy, and may I truly be happy. May I be free from all kinds of harm and danger. Free from all mental suffering. Free from all physical suffering. May I be peaceful. May I be well. May I truly be happy. Now let us expand the metta. Let us expand the metta, reaching out to all the beings around here. May they be monks or nuns, fellow yogis, to the Dhamma workers, Dhamma helpers, volunteers, to the donors, sponsors, to the guardian devas of this center, other devas residing around here, to all the petas, and to all the animals, big, small, seen or unseen. May all beings around here be free from all kinds of harm and danger, free from all mental suffering, free from all physical suffering. May all of us be peaceful, be well, and may all of us truly be happy. May all beings around here be free from all kinds of harm and danger, free from all mental suffering, free from all physical suffering. May we all be peaceful, be well, and may we all truly be happy. Now let us expand further. Let us expand to all the beings in this country. May they be humans or non-humans, devas or petas, animals big, small, far or near, seen or unseen. May all beings in this country be free from all kinds of harm and danger, free from all mental suffering, free from all physical suffering. May they all be peaceful. May they all be well. May they all truly be happy. May all beings in this country be free from all kinds of harm and danger, free from all mental suffering, free from all physical suffering. May they all be peaceful. May they all be well. May all beings in this country, may they all truly be happy. Now let us expand. Let us reach out to all beings in this in this world. Humans or non-humans, our loved ones near or far away, or to those people whom we do not know wherever they are, or to those whom we dislike or those who dislike us. To all the guardian devas of the Buddha Sasana, to all other devas residing in this world, to all the petas and animals, big, small, seen or unseen, far or near. All beings in this world, May they be free from all kinds of harm and danger, free from all mental suffering, free from all physical suffering. May all beings able to live in peace and not in war. Live with kindness and compassion and not in cruelty or violence. May all beings be peaceful. May they all be well. May all beings truly be happy. May all beings in this world be free from all kinds of harm and danger, free from all mental suffering, free from all physical suffering. May they all be peaceful. May they all be well. And may all beings truly be happy. Now let us expand. Let us expand our minds, expand the loving kindness without boundary, without bias, without condition. To all beings in this universe or universes, to all beings from the highest planes of existence down to the lowest planes, to all beings in all the world systems. May all beings without exception be free from all kinds of harm and danger, free from all mental suffering, free from all physical suffering. May all beings able to live in peace with themselves and in peace with others. May they all be well, be healthy, and may all beings truly be happy. May all beings be free from all kinds of harm and danger, free from all mental suffering, free from all physical suffering. May all beings be peaceful. May they all be well. And may all beings truly be happy. May all beings be peaceful. May they all be well. May they all be healthy. And may all beings truly be happy. Now slowly let go of the reflection. We bring the mind back again to the present, the body here and now. Feel the rise, fall of the abdomen. Feel the body. Then slowly we can open our eyes. Right. So yesterday we talked about a bit on the triple gateway of liberation. That depending on one's inclination, then the yogi will experience nibbana slightly differently from one person to another person. Depending on the inclination, whether it's faith, inclined to faith, inclined to concentration, or more inclined to wisdom. So they have slightly different names from one liberation to another one. So it's good to know. At least we know that due to our nature of our minds and body, all our inclination, then our development, and also the liberation, nibbana, also will experience them different from one to another. Yeah? Now, so tonight now, we're still going to look into the 7 factors of enlightenment. Yeah? We are not in a sense of looking into each single factor, because each of the factors, we have covered it for the past 2 months. Yeah? So we're going to look at things more like how they interact with each other, how the 7 factors of enlightenment, they are interacting with each other. Then it forms what is that form? It forms the noting mind. It forms the noting mind. Yeah? Hold on, let me check something. Okay. Now, you see, in the sutta, how the 7 factors of enlightenment arises, and what is the resultant of 7 factors of enlightenment? So the Buddha used the word. Wait, let me read it out better. Let me read it out. Okay. It says, here, bhikkhu, one develops the enlightenment factor of mindfulness, which is based upon seclusion, dispassion, and cessation, maturing in released. One develops the factor of investigation of Dhamma, the factor of joy, the factor of tranquility, then the factor of concentration, and the factor of equanimity. All these things is based upon seclusion, dispassion, cessation, maturing in release. That means, in other words, when these factors, when they mature, then it's enlightenment. That's what it says, 7 factors of enlightenment. Because when it matures, it maturing in release. The word release here is nibbana. But the thing is, the word that the Buddha used, seclusion, dispassion, cessation. So what does it mean? It means a retreat. It means a retreat. How do you go and bring about seclusion? At home? That's impossible. We cannot be seclusion when we are at home. Bodily is not secluded. Mentally, we are not secluded. our mind is not dispassion. The mind is like fluctuating. The mind is not stable. The mind is attachment to this and that, delight in this and that, unhappy with this and that. So it is impossible for us to develop 7 factors of enlightenment in the household life. When you come over here and during a retreat, whether 2 weeks or 2 months or 3 months or 1 year and so on, then if while you're in a retreat, especially in a retreat, then these factors of enlightenment becomes clear to you all. Other words, the noting mind. So it has to be based upon that. We talk about a number of things during the past 2 months or so. We talk about although we cannot develop exactly the all these qualities of the mind, the factors of enlightenment, but we can able to develop its conditions, many conditions out there. We talk about mindfulness, we talk about investigation of Dhamma, things like that. And some of the things not just only based on retreat, but also based on what we can do in the everyday life when we're out there. So it gives us a better state of mind, so that these factors of enlightenment can be developed. So it's based upon seclusion, dispassion, cessation, maturing, and released. And also another sutta. Let me see whether I have that or not. So mana pergi? Where's the sutta? Hold on. Okay. All right. Now, somebody asked the Buddha. No, no. Just put it another way. Now, the Buddha says, the maturity of this knowledge and liberation, the true knowledge and liberation, that means the realization of Nibbana itself. Now, it comes about because of the 7 factors of enlightenment. Okay? Now, the 7 factors of enlightenment arises because of the 4 foundation of mindfulness. And the 4 foundation of mindfulness arises because you avoid the 3 wrong conducts. What are the 3 wrong conducts? Mind, speech, and action. You avoid the 3 wrong conducts. That means you develop the 3 right conduct. Wholesome speech, wholesome action, wholesome thoughts. So you develop that. But these 3 wholesome conduct arises because of sense restraint. That means we restrain on our senses. That means the 5 senses especially. We restrain on the 5 senses. Then we develop, when we avoid the 3 wrong conducts, then it comes about the 4 foundation of mindfulness. 4 foundation of mindfulness give rise to 7 factors of enlightenment. 7 factors of enlightenment give rise to enlightenment. That is what I summarize. But the thing is that while we are here, sometimes the Buddha used this word. Then how does it relate to our practice? So while we are here, we already, like, for example, take the 8th precept as the baseline of our sila. as the baseline of our sila. That means we take this 8 precept and we try not to cross over it. That means you cross it or you breach it. That means we, in a way, we break the precept. Yeah? But on top of the precept, on top of the precept, there are also many things that you have to do. So the precept here, the 8 precept here, it's in a way that we do a lot of sensual restraint. Play music, No, because the 7th precept says you have to avoid shows and entertainment and all this thing. That means sensual restraint. And what is the 6th precept? Then again, the 6th precept is eating at the wrong time. It's a kind of sensual restraint. Restraint of what? Of your tongue. The taste and also enjoyment of the food and all that. So we eat enough. So it's a form of a sensual restraint. So we restrain also on talk on seeing shows and so on, luxury and so on. And then also, of course, we avoid the wrong conduct and the wrong actions in the sense of non-killing, non-stealing, non-sexual misconduct, not just only sexual misconduct, but avoiding all sexual activities, and then also avoid lying, alcohol, drugs, and so on. So all these things, as a sense restraint and as a wrong conduct, we try to avoid a lot of this. So this 8 precept will act as our red line not to cross. But discipline has further than that. When you come over here, the discipline is included. The sila included what time you wake up. It's part of action. So it's part of action. That means what time you wake up. If the schedule gives you like 4 o'clock, 4:30, you wake up. Yes, 4 o'clock, 4:30, then you wake up. Your walking time, you do the walking time. Sitting time, you do the sitting time. That is also a kind of discipline. Then here again, like we avoid talking with each other. So we avoid talking to each other also is a kind of sila. We have a eyes restraint. That means while we are walking and so on, we keep our eyes like 5-6 feet in front of us. Sensual restraint. We don't look at here, don't look at everything else. We pull the senses back to the body, back to the meditation object. So this type of sila that you follow through again and again, day after day, then this makes a very strong foundation for the mental development. I've seen places that I've gone to in the past when this sila, this part of the sila, they have, they keep the 8 precept. They don't cross the 8 precept, which is good. But the other ones, like to walk, to sit, sensual restraint, they get lacking of it. So they are lacking of it. That means they're supposed the time for us to sit or walk. They don't do that. So they don't do that. It's make the meditation very difficult for them to develop far because the discipline is not there. So whenever I go to a place in the retreat, I look for the place where there is better discipline. And when I have a better discipline, and then you find that the yogis will try to meditate better. If you are keen enough, when you can travel places and you travel to different places to meditate and to see these type of things, then you see exactly what the Buddha talked about over time, then you can see these type of things. Yeah. So go to places when you want to meditate, or if the place they let you do on your own, then you create your own discipline, isn't it? Because you cannot rely on them, because sometimes the places that you're going to go to meditate, they may not have all this way of discipline, where there's the practice and walking, sitting, they may not have that. So they let you do whatever you want, as long as you don't do over too much, you know. So as long as you do it for your meditation, then they'll let you. But the thing is that there you have to you have to create your own discipline. So when you create your own discipline to walk, sit, or you put up a schedule for yourself, slowly you refine the way, then when everything settle down, you'll find it is so much more better for you to meditate. So it's always good when a beginner of a yogi, when they settle them down for a retreat, you settle them in a strict discipline first. When they have that strict discipline, then in the future, then this type of yogis have a better condition for progress. If you go to a place where yogis are not disciplined, or they just come to a monastery just for spiritual environment only, but then they have like so-called spiritual friends around, but then they don't really meditate, a lot of talking, a lot of hoo-ha, a lot of everything. Still wholesome, not to say not wholesome, but cannot develop much, especially on the mental side. So it would be good always that we have that good discipline to begin with. So when we begin with that, then after that, the four foundation of mindfulness will start. In other words, you must know its object. The object of your meditation. What other object is suitable for meditation, and what other objects are not suitable for meditation. So with that, together with the object of meditation, then here when you do the walking, sitting, you begin to pay attention, you begin to note the objects again and again, right? That noting of the object is where the factors of enlightenment slowly will mature and develop. That is to say, the mindfulness, before that, you don't have much of it. Now, slowly, the mindfulness will start coming in. Before that, the investigation of Dhamma, that means the mind is not sharp, not clear. Now the mind is more clearer, more sharper. You can able to distinguish things clearer. Because you're able to distinguish things, you sometimes become a bit more interested into what you are noting while you are paying attention to all the objects. So this is in a way, it's kind of a joy. A rapture of the word piti. Then with that too, effort also comes in. Maybe effort comes in before. So effort comes in, then the mind becomes alert. The mind is able to overcome the drowsiness. Hopefully by today was what day already? Tuesday. Those who come on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Hopefully you clear your sluggishness of your mind. Because sometimes if the effort is not enough, if the practice is not enough, then sometimes the mind gets sluggish. But when it's built up, then the mind gets clearer and clearer. As they get clearer, and then also, of course, the mind becomes a bit more calmer, less thoughts, less thinking. The mind can able to stay with the object. Tranquility is coming in, concentration is coming in. The mind is more continuous, more balanced. That is, all those things comes in as the noting mind. Comes in as a noting mind. So the noting mind, you note on the objects again and again, repeatedly, until you go through all the vipassana insights, and then it mature into release. Yeah, it mature into enlightenment. Basically, like that, lah. Basically. Yeah. Yeah. But this is how. This is a. I mean, this is a direct way. All you need to do is keep on doing and doing and doing and doing and doing. And then the more that you note, the noting mind becomes stronger. As it goes stronger, it goes develop further. Then, in other words, that factors of enlightenment becomes stronger and stronger, clearer and clearer. So whether you understand the all the talks or not doesn't matter. As long as you meditate, you do, and you notice, and you note, then it is so much more better. Yeah? Now, in the Dhammānupassanā, right? In the fourth foundation of mindfulness, under the fourth foundation of mindfulness, which is Dhammānupassanā, we no need to translate the word Dhamma here. The word Dhamma is not the Buddha Sutta teaching Dhamma. No? Yeah. The Dhammānupassanā, it can be involved. The feeling, it can involve the body, it can involve the feelings, it can involve the mind, and how these things are all interact with each other. Then it falls under Dhammānupassanā. The interaction is important. How they condition each other, those are very important for Dhammānupassanā. Because Dhammānupassanā is not only seeing one object. Dhammānupassanā, it's sometimes, a lot of times actually, it sees an object, it sees what aroused the object, what give rise to this object, what condition that particular object to arise, or that particular object, what is its effect that arises after that. What are the effects that because of this thing is here? So Dhammānupassanā looks into its conditioning. It looks into conditioning. That is the nature of Dhammānupassanā. Now, in the let me see. Okay. All right. Let me go back to this one. Okay. Now, in the fourth foundation of mindfulness, as I said, under the Dhammānupassanā, and under the Dhammānupassanā, there is one section called the 7 factors of enlightenment. And the Buddha used the 7 factors of enlightenment as an object also. Other words, although you develop the 4 foundation of mindfulness, then after that, the stronger the mindfulness becomes, the stronger you develop, that means you develop the 4 foundation of the 7 factors of enlightenment. 7 factors give rise to enlightenment. But in 4 foundation of mindfulness, there is already 7 factors of enlightenment. In other words, what happened is that you can able to note the noting mind also. Understand? That means you can able to note the noting mind itself. Because as I said, noting mind consists of these 7 factors of enlightenment. Yeah? Of course, the noting mind, consists of it, but actually there are more factors than that. But we just limit it to 7 factors of enlightenment. So in other words, you can actually see the own mind itself. You can actually see the mindfulness. You can actually see the investigation of Dhamma. You can actually see the joy factor, tranquility, concentration, or whichever that comes up prominently during in the meditation. Yeah. So here in the 7 factors of enlightenment, then the Buddha, I read it through for you. A bhikkhu abides contemplating mind objects as mind objects. Here, translation they use as mind objects. But mind objects is not a very good translation for Dhammānupassanā, because it doesn't shows you the interaction part of it. All right. So but anyway, because of the translation, we just use the word mind objects. Now, a bhikkhu abides contemplating mind objects and mind as mind objects in terms of the 7 enlightenment factors. And how does a bhikkhu abides? Let me move the thing. Abides contemplating mind objects as mind objects in terms of the 7 enlightenment factors. Okay, this is how they're going to do. Here, there being mindfulness enlightenment factor in him, a bhikkhu understand there is mindfulness enlightenment factor in me, or there is no mindfulness enlightenment factor in him. He understands there is no mindfulness enlightenment factor in me. Then the Buddha continued. And he understands how there comes to be the arising of the unarisen mindfulness enlightenment factor, and how the arisen mindfulness enlightenment factor comes to fulfillment by development. Okay, that means it knows that what are the factors that arouse the mindfulness enlightenment factor, and the reason that mindfulness factor, that reason mindfulness, then how does it comes to fulfillment? What that means? What are its effect after that? What does it create? What does it fulfill? And what did you notice in that sense? So to the same thing, it goes through all the 7 factors, or the other 6 factors for the investigation. The Buddha also used the word, whether there is mindfulness, he knows that there's mindfulness. When there's no mindfulness, he also knows that there's no mindfulness. That means when you are, when your mind is sharp, when there's investigation of Dhamma is there, you know it's there. When it's not there, you also know it's not there. Okay? When there's pleasantness is there, but that means there is joy is there, you know it's there. When it's not there, you also know it's not there. Your mind is tranquil. You know it's tranquil. You know that the mind is not tranquil. Your mind is concentrated. You also know the mind is not concentrated. You know the mind whether it's equanimous or the mind is not equanimous. That means, in other words, how are you going to know it? So, in other words, when you know it, you got to know its characteristic. Because each and every characteristic of them, they are very different. So in the past 2 months or so, when I introduce each factor, I always introduce its characteristic. Now we introduce its characteristic. Of course, in the Abhidhamma, or in this one, they have, what do you call that? Characteristic, function, manifestation, proximate cause. That one, yes, it's good to know that, but very theory lah. Very theory. So theory that until when you translate the whole, you think you know by theory, you put it into practice, you do not know how to connect them. So it's always better to learn for you to feel those characteristics themselves. Yeah. So how are you going to know, let's say, investigation of Dhamma? How are you going to know uh, at that time while you are walking or while you're sitting whether that investigation of Dhamma is there or not there? In other words, investigation of Dhamma is the wisdom factor. Wisdom factor is the mind that is being thorough, mind that is being sharp. How are you going to know it's there or not there? That time you should know, because no matter how much the teacher can teach you, then if you still meditate and still mong cha cha, then it's not my fault already, or not any teacher's fault already. Uh, uh, say, for example, the investigation of Dhamma is easy. Maybe you have to know it, for example. You have to know it whether it's there or it's not there. For example, when you do lift, when you do one face, is there much of investigation of Dhamma? Hmm? When you do one face, not much of investigation of Dhamma, because why? The mind is not thorough. The mind is not sharp. The mind is not clear. Yeah? So you have to know. At that time, there's not much of investigation of Dhamma there. But at that time also, perhaps maybe you check again. Is there mindfulness there or not? How you know that the mindfulness, again, the characteristic of mindfulness has to be known. The investigation of Dhamma also has to be known. So how do you know that mindfulness is there while you're doing one face? What is the nature of mindfulness then? Then the nature of mindfulness is that, is the mind really in the present moment or not? It's really there or not? Are you there with the right step, left step, right step, left step or not? If it's there, then you know mindfulness is there. It's good, at least you know. And then if you do not know, then you just walk and then you look here and there, just feel good, feel nice. No lah, you don't, that one not much lah. So you got to know. That means when the mindfulness is there, you know the mindfulness is there. At that one phase, there's not much of thoroughness is there. That means the investigation of Dhamma is not that. But I said many times, you still need to relax the body. Don't be so kanjiong. Relax a bit. Slowly build it up. The body needs to be relaxed. Then when you're ready first, then only you begin to be more thorough. And the thoroughness, as you go slower and slower, you pay more attention to what is going on. At that time, you purposely exercise the investigation of Dhamma. Then that time, you find that you're a bit too tense. Then you go faster a little bit. Then that time you know that you begin to drop the investigation of Dhamma and you just go back to mindfulness. So if you know that, that means you're aware of the state of mind in a sense. And the state of mind is connected to how you walk. You see what I mean here? So this is how we begin to understand how the investigation of Dhamma or mindfulness, or in the terms of you aware of how the noting mind is being exercised at that moment of time. So there's a different quality in that. Or perhaps, maybe you sit down there. You sit down and then you're not rising and falling. Rising and falling is clear, for example. Then after that, the mind goes into a lot of thinking. a lot of thinking. The agitation comes in. Yeah? So the agitation comes in. You're aware of the agitation. That means the thinking thought is there. Yeah. Mm. So when it's thinking thought, the thinking is there. Before that, for example, you were quite calm. You were quite calm. But after a while, you notice that the mind is not calm. So that when the mind is not calm, then you know, because there is just beside it only when there's calm and not calm. So what you can do, instead of sometimes noting just agitation, then you just notice not calm, not calm, not calm, not calm, not calm. That means not tranquil, not peaceful, not peaceful, not peaceful, which is also is true. The mind is agitated also lah. But because just now was peaceful, the mind was calm, and this time the mind gets agitated. Usually sometimes we note it as agitation, 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 which is good, which is good. But during the time when we talk about effort, that time, when it becomes too much, then your mind becomes like a lot of agitation coming in. So that time, I also mentioned when you want to note the agitation, you note the agitation with a calm mind. That means you bring the mindfulness there, you bring the noting mind to the restless mind. That means you're aware of the restlessness in the present moment. That means the mindfulness is there. You watch its characteristic, how this sometimes the one thought after it goes with another thought. But at the same time, you also arouse some degree of calmness to come in. That means you purposely arouse like a degree of some calmness to come in order to reduce the agitation. So in other words, you take note of it, of the agitation, the thoughts that's passing through. Then you note them as slowly agitated, 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 or calmness, or that's not calmness, not calm, not calm, not calm, not calm. You see what I mean? You purposely arouse certain mental factor so that it can help you to reduce to reduce the thinking mind, which is helpful in a way. Yeah. So that time we spend some time talking about it. Yeah? We spend some time talking about it. Yeah. But on the opposite side, let's say that time your mind becomes too calm. Earlier on was very clear, very things are going very well, but the mind is getting calmer and calmer and calmer, and then becomes like you're sitting there, peaceful and so on. So what you should do then? Just sit like that. Huh? Then we arouse the energy this time. That means you purposely arouse the energy together with the mindfulness to come in. Say, for example, you notice the calmness is there. It's too calm already. The objects are not clear. Or perhaps the mind goes into sluggishness, a bit of like drowsiness coming in. That means the effort is all dropping already this time. So what you should do? You should note a bit more stronger. How do you note them? Like peaceful, 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 peaceful. That means with a firm noting mind. Although the state is peaceful, you note it as if they are, but you do it a little bit more faster. Peaceful, 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 peaceful. So in order for us to arouse the mind again. So when the mind is being aroused again, the energy comes in, then you see that the calmness, the over calmness become lesser, or the sluggishness become less, and then the mind comes into alertness again. Yeah. So you can able to tune the mind to the situation that is needed. Yeah. So these 7 factors of enlightenment is interesting. That means a lot of times I said you have to recognize its characteristic. Right? Sometimes I give you a number of examples of how this characteristic is different from that characteristic, and how sometimes they are quite similar, they are quite the same. Yeah, almost looks the same. But this is again training of the mind. This is training of the mind. And then when you do that, it's become very helpful in our long-term practice. Yeah. So, in the Dhammānupassanā, you're aware of how this thing comes. Yeah? Uh, so, the Buddha says also, when it is not there, you also must know how to arouse it so that it arises. Right? Now, say for example, the joy factor, the rapture factor. Yeah? You sit there and then, let's say, you're not rising, falling, rising, falling, rising, falling, rising, falling, sian. Yeah. Then, after a while, the same thing repeat itself again and again, here a little bit, there a little bit, this one a little bit. And you sit there, so you feel bored. What are you going to do? Or sometimes you walk, right step, left step, cold, 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 cold. Then you walk back also again, cold, cold, cold. Same thing. And what are you going to do? The mind is not interested. The mind gets bored a bit because kind of a repetition. Yeah? But again, sometimes we are, some yogis. Some yogis, sometimes they want, every day want exciting new things. Mana boleh like that, Every day want new things. Just because you notice new things, they thought that progress come in. No, not necessary. Sometimes progress comes in a repetition of the same thing again and again. Sometimes like that, not all the time, sometimes like that. Sometimes you may notice something new here and there, changes in this way and that way, very different from previous ones. Yes, perhaps, yes. But sometimes repetition again and again and again and again. But again, is that when it's repetition, the problem is that it gets dull. Still there, object still there, but sian already, you're still there. Then how are you going to arouse it? How are you going to stir up the mind then? Yeah? This time, we need a bit of rapture. With a bit of rapture, a bit of joy, so that it becomes more exciting again. Yeah. Not to say new things, but just to keep the mind excited. A short change. For example, many times I have mentioned, when things gets like you take walking, right step, left step, and then things get monotonous. So what you should do? Supposedly somebody come and ask you what to do. Go to next other object, go to secondary object like that. Yeah. Go to secondary object. Take note of the secondary object while you're still walking. It's okay. Take notice of the thighs that is moving, or the knees are moving, or the shoulders are moving, or the hips are moving, or other sensation of the body that are arising during this time. Sometimes it's just by arousing the mind goes to other object. Because of able to notice other object, the mind gets alert again. It gets interested again in the noticing. Then the dullness gets, or the bottom gets disappear. So we purposely use those things just to keep the mind, so that the mind is its optimum level. Yeah. So we keep the mind in its optimum level. So this is how one way or another, we arouse the noting mind. Arouse this noting mind. That means this noting mind, sometimes you can able to arouse a little bit here and there. Or sometimes, for example, even mindfulness itself. Mindfulness is always needed. Mindfulness, the more the better. Yeah. Mindfulness is always not enough. Yeah. But the other six is sometimes can be too much and then become problem. Too little, also problem. But mindfulness, one is too little is problem, too much, never a problem. Okay, too much, never a problem. So the more mindfulness that you have, the more mindfulness, it creates a good condition so that all the other factors will come in. Yeah? All other factors come in. So that's it. In the beginning process of development is always mindfulness. You bring in the mindfulness to the present moment again and again and again and again. Whether you are doing your daily activities, eating, you're taking shower, you're defecating, urinating, whatever that you are doing, bring the mindfulness, bring the mind to the present. Yeah. A lot of times, sometimes even in the Dhamma talks, um, I notice that sometimes I don't use exactly the word mindfulness. Because sometimes you use the mindfulness, everybody can think differently. Sometimes I like to use keep the mind in the present because it's easy. It describes the state of mind. Yeah. That sometimes I don't use the word just joy, but I describe it a little bit like interested, boredom, and not boredom. The mind gets interested and so on, because these are its quality in the plain language that we can able to understand them easier. Yeah. A lot of times I notice that sometimes you use the two big words, devotees or yogis. Huh? So big words. So sometimes also I don't use much of Pali words also. Again, also make you even more pong cha cha. Yeah. Not to say that we do not know. I know, but I'm not expert. I'm no expert in all this type of thing. I know enough so that I can practice. Enough for me to practice. It's not in the sense that learning Pali because I want to teach here and there. Yeah, learn it because I want to do it for myself. Yeah. I mean that was all the plan, initially. So here, as long as you understand, you make the effort to be mindful again and again, then exercise the factors of enlightenment whenever they are needed. So in so many ways, we have talked about them already. Yeah? Of course, you may not able to remember every of my talks. I also cannot remember all my talks also. To be fair, but when the topic is there, when the topic is there, when I'm into it, then I can able to remember whatever is needed. But you ask me offhand like that, sometimes I cannot even remember. Yeah? But what is important, as I said, these 7 factors of enlightenment is not just in theory, but very much into the practice. Okay, so when you understand how to arouse certain factor of enlightenment, then it's very good. Yeah? Not enough mindfulness, you know what you are supposed to do. Not enough noting investigation of Dhamma, you also realize when it's not there, you know that it's there. You know how to arouse it. You know how to stir it up. When it's too much, you know how to reduce it. Uh, so in the 7 factors of enlightenment, some of the Dhamma talks also I mentioned that these 7 factors of enlightenment, they can divide into 3 groups. The first one is only mindfulness only. Mindfulness stands alone. So you have another 2 more. So the one that is what we call the energetic group. Energetic group, it belongs under investigation of Dhamma. It belongs to joy or effort and joy. These three belongs to energetic group. The other three group is the other three factor of tranquility, concentration, and equanimity. These three belongs to the calm group. Comes to the calm. Seven factors of enlightenment. It's a more extended form of how we balance the mind, compared to sometimes we talk about the five faculties, the five mental faculties. Because five mental faculties, when we talk about balancing, then we talk about effort and concentration, then mindfulness to balance this. Then the other one is wisdom factor and the sada. Then mindfulness balance these two. Whereas seven factors of enlightenment, the seven factors of enlightenment, when you're, let's say, although there are energetic three inside there, calm got three inside there, then of course mindfulness stays in the center. Mindfulness is like as I said, the more the better. No? Not as it, the Buddha said, the more the better. It's always not enough. So here, while we are practicing, sometimes when you are agitated, when you're agitated, that means it could be because of a lot of thoughts that's come in, or maybe the thoughts that comes in, it comes in with desire, sensual desire, or it may comes with anger and so on. So we need to calm it down. We need to calm the agitation down. So we can actually use not only just concentration, but we also can use tranquility, and also we can use equanimity. Because any one of them, if you learn how to use them, you already can able to overcome the agitation of the mind. Take for example, if the mind is a lot of thinking, let's say, a lot of thinking going on and one after another. So this time you felt that just sit there and watch. Don't react to it. Whatever images that comes up, however the faces are there, or the people that you don't like one, truly you hate one, also comes up, let's say. So you decide not to react. You sit there and you watch them one after another. One after another, one after another, one after another, one after another, one after another. So when you do that, it's a valid way of noting. So that time, what are you using mostly? Yeah, equanimity. That means equanimity here, you don't react to it. You just sit there, do whatever you want do calm calm. You just pass through, let it pass through. So like that, you don't react to it. You don't go and kacau it. You don't go and this one. It gets more, you watch also. You get less, you watch also. You just don't react to it. Then after that, everything pass through, the mind comes down. Equanimity. Yeah, equanimity in that sense. And because, as I said, the nature of equanimity has the nature of calming also. In the sense of it calming also. Or some yogis may not want to do this way. Or sometimes you may not want to do this way. Sometimes the agitation that comes in, a lot of thinking that comes in. Then the yogi, what they do is that they instead of noting the agitation of the mind, they know it's there, but they bring the mind to the rising and falling, or to the in-breath and out-breath. Just gently in-breath, out-breath, in-breath, out-breath. Then it goes back to thinking, planning, in-breath, out-breath, in-breath, out-breath, thinking, in breath, out breath. Then you slowly you pull it down, you pull it down, you pull it down, you pull it down, until you can able just to stay with in breath, out breath. So what quality is that? Yeah? Concentration. Exactly. 搞了. Pandai liao. This is how we do it. And I mentioned about that during the talks. Some of, if you all remember, some of things that how we overcome certain. So I base upon all these things and how we use it to bring certain qualities of the mind so that the mind can overcome the agitation or overcome sluggishness of the mind. So it's interesting, it's interesting in that way, just to keep the mind calm or to keep the mind active. So there's different ways to overcome certain things. So therefore, the energetic factor, the calm factor, and the mindfulness. Every time you want to overcome something, there must always comes with mindfulness. Make sure that the mind is present there, alertness, you're present together with the calmness, together with the activeness of the mind. The mindfulness is always important. Now, 7 factors of enlightenment also. Then some of you are perhaps maybe start thinking, why don't 9 factors of enlightenment? Why must be 7? Cannot 8 factors, meh? Why cannot be 6, meh? Why must be 7? Why cannot be 10 factors of enlightenment or more than that? Faith not important, meh? But how come faith is not mentioned in the 7 factors of enlightenment? Why? Why 4 noble truth? No 5 noble truth one, meh? Why should that be like that? Why certain things must be certain number? Y'all never ask like that. Or just take face value and the Buddha say like that, like that already. 5 faculties, 5 powers, 4 foundation of mindfulness, and so on, Why like that? Why always like 7 factors of enlightenment and a very specific this thing? A specific number for it. Hey, the answer is that it's not these things, and all this is not being the Buddha too free, then think about all these things, then he just formulate one thing for you, It's not like that, It's not like that. Because other Buddhas also will see 4 noble truths also. Doesn't mean that suddenly next Buddha comes see 5 noble truths. No. The next Buddha will still see 4 noble truths. The next Buddha also will see the 7 factors of enlightenment. The past Buddha before Gautama and all the Buddhas before that also see 7 factors of enlightenment. They see the 5 faculties, they will always see the 5 faculties. So, in other words, why is that so? Because this thing is they are reality. They are reality. They are not something created by the Buddha. They are realities of the mind. They call it whether this is chitta niyama or something like that, the law of the chitta. It's not created by the Buddha. It's only that because they are there, the Buddha discovered them. Okay? So that's why it's always going to be the same. No, it's not going to be the 5 noble truths or 3 noble truths. But the thing is that if the Buddha is able to see it, will the disciples of the Buddha can see it? That means, in other words, can you see it? Can you see it? These 7 factors of enlightenment, 4 noble truths themselves. Not in the sense that, I leg pain now, noble truth of dukkha, 垮掉了. Not like that, not like that. But the thing is that you don't see the other 3. You don't see the other. You follow what the Buddha said. Oh, you see the noble truth of suffering, this suffering, but you didn't see the other three suffering is the other three noble truth. So in other words, you cannot able to formulate the whole Four Noble Truth yet, because you cannot see the other three yet. So, so therefore, this type of vipassana knowledge, this type of insights, this type of insights that when it arises like for example, when it comes as a Four Noble Truth, it will show you all the four as a knowledge, as a group of observation. That means all these Four Noble Truths, what you see, you can actually see it within this mind and body itself. And it will show you its pattern. It will show you the craving. It will show you the nibbana. It will show you the all the Noble Eightfold Path in terms of the qualities of the mind. It shows you the dukkha, everything as a knowledge. That means it comes in, it arises, and to let you see it. Only if your mind is sharp enough, clear enough. And it's possible. And that one usually for those people where the wisdom factor are much more sharper, and they can actually see these type of things too. But that one usually they are maybe enlightened first, enlightened, maybe they can see that. Because Putujana may be a bit more difficult because of our defilements here and there. So they can actually see that when it says Four Noble Truth, they can actually see the Four Noble Truth. Because first of all, the enlightened one, they can see the Third Noble Truth. They can see Nibbana. For Putujana, Nibbana, not there yet. So how they formation and so on, they see it as a knowledge. So too, 7 factors of enlightenment. When they notice the 7 factors of enlightenment, and they notice only 7 only. There's no 6, there's no 5, there are 3 or whatever. It comes in as 7 factors of enlightenment. Then it shows it as a knowledge. Because that one does not come with faith. Then there's no faith. There's no faith factor there. You get what I mean? Because it comes in as a knowledge. It comes in as a process. But on another occasion, you see the 5 faculties in terms of direct observation. Then it only shows you the 5. And it's not more than that. Therefore, it's being taught 5. This is not something that we created out, This one is something that actually can be seen within Vipassana itself also. So this is much more deeper type of knowledge. This one is more than your rising, falling, sitting, touching, or even your insights or whatever. This is much more than that. This one, it comes into the area of what is the four discrimination knowledge, something like that. So that one in an area, but all these things is being presented in this mind and body. So whatever when we talk on these 7 factors of enlightenment, this is within the truth itself, within the actual truth, their reality. Okay, so we'll stop here for tonight. We'll continue on that Thursday. Yes, all right. Okay. Idang me bhavanam nibbanasa pachayo hotu. May my mental cultivation be a condition for the realization of nibbana. Imang no punya bagang sabba satanang dema We share these merits with our departed ones, with all beings and all the devas. Sabbe satta sukhi hontu anumodantu. May all beings be happy. May they rejoice in these merits. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.